Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? It's the man child. Okay, so today up for review, I just finally got in my Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat Liu Kang figure. And he also comes with the his iconic Dragon Fatality. So for you guys that probably played the game or did not back in the 90s, Mortal Kombat 2 was the stuff, man. I spent half my teenage years playing it, whether it was in the arcade or when it came out on Super Nintendo, or I think PlayStation 2 had a mod of it that came out. But he was probably one of the most impressive characters because of that Dragon Fatality. And what other better company to make when it's Storm Collectibles, because they knocked their Mortal Kombat stuff out of the park. So here we finally got Liu Kang. Now he was on pre-order last year sometime. I had to place the order through Storm Collectibles when I seen he was available. Paid for it. I totally forgot about it. And just today, out of nowhere, it shows up on my doorstep. No email, no nothing. Here it is. And here's a quick look with the art or images on the back of the box. We just have the Storm Collectibles figure Liu Kang sitting here with his Kung Fu pose going there. You get 3 different heads. Looks like the fireball effect, which in the game he had a jump, a high, and a low fireball, from what I remember. He's doing a bicycle kick here. I don't know if they come with a stand to set him up to do that. If not, I have figure stands, but it's pretty cool to show that. He's just hanging out here in the paddle pose, ready to go. And then look at this up here. We got Liu Kang next to his Dragon Fatality. That's what I'm looking forward to most, seeing that dragon. And here's a quick look at his bio. You want to pause and read that. And here's a little more art on the side here. A better look with Liu Kang and his dragon pose next to him. Pretty cool. So here's a quick look with the inner bubble out of the card, what it looks like and how it's all together. And then it's going to separate in the back here. So yes, you get the full complete dragon. I've had a question with that when I posted pics. Like, do you just get the head or the complete dragon? No, you get everything. So here's the back part. It looks like a figure stand. And here's a quick layout with all the accessories, a figure, the dragon parts, and what you expect getting out of the 2 bubbles you have to separate out of the box. So, of course, before we get to the dragon, which everybody wants to see, including myself, let's check out Liu Kang, because he's kind of the star of the show, at least on the box. Head sculpt looks awesome, you know? Definitely looks like something in that Mortal Kombat 2 game, but translated to an action figure form. As far as the articulation now, and you got to watch, because everything with Storm Collectibles is really, it pops out easy sometimes. It's hard to put back without messing with it. But anyway, so the articulation with the head and go back and forth, down and up. Yeah, I love the way, again, you see close up the way the eyes are done, the bandana, the hair. You got the tie back coming off that bandana. Now this does come off, and mine fell out, and it's hard to put back on. It's a rubber plug. I don't want to call it a QC issue, but it's kind of poor design, and you got to push it back in with a pin. So I'm gonna leave this in for now, but you can see this does move and come off. But yeah, as I said, the hair looks cool, the way the face, the skin. So moving down to the buck and the body, ab. Yeah, it looks great. Articulation too. You got articulation at the ab there. And the rubber does hinder it, but you got to move it. You can move it back and forth, and you can go forward and back about this far. Again, mine's getting stuck. Again, the way they cut this in here, it's pretty cool. It looks good, but this does pop out a little bit, and it is hard to move around. So I'm just you got to work at it, but it does have good flexibility and articulation. Same thing with the arms. Arms look, they're really well done there, and so with the arm and go all the way out, forward, back. Has a bicep swivel, but of course it moves at the joint because it's so soft. You can bend all the way up. It's got the awesome wrist bracers on there with the spikes, all painted in silver, and of course the wrist bracers in black. They're the same on both sides, both arms, and I don't know if these are... Okay, they do come off. Look at that. They can actually slide off, it looks like, if you take the hands off. Both of them. That's cool. Any part of the sculpt. So yeah, you can, turn it the waist, bend all the way forward the waist like that. It actually works better in the ab crunch. You gotta mess around with that a little bit. Now you got these pieces too that hide the gaps. That's pretty cool with Storm Collectibles because it gives the figure a good range of motion, and fiddling around with these pieces, you can make it look natural as far as the aesthetics, the muscle aesthetics of the figure. But depending on how you rotate the arms, they go all around, so it's something you got to mess with. And certain ones are supposed to be in a certain position to hide the gaps, to keep the ball of the shoulders all the way out. So just giving you a warning, got to mess around with that. But that's what it looks like. Moving down, so yeah, we got the cool pants, the Mortal Kombat 2 pants, red. And then the variant figure, if you were a second player, had blue. And I'm sure Storm Collectibles will come out another variant because I got the tooling, and it'll probably be all in blue. As far as legs, you can do a split all the way out. We can go forward, all the way back like this. Bend all the way at the knee. We can spin. Can he spin at the boot? No, he can't. Okay, the boot doesn't spin. The foot can go up and down. He can... All right, how about this side? Foot can go up and down here and spin at the... I guess you spin at the thigh up here. I'm surprised he doesn't spin at the ankle there. Huh. So messing around with the legs more, yeah, I can only spin it this way. That's how you're going to spin. But you could do a pretty cool high kick, something like that. Front kicks, right? You can pose them to do all the iconic moves in a Mortal Kombat 2 game or whatever you want, jump kicks. And of course, you would need some type of figure stand to elevate them or hold them in place. So it's really cool the range of motion these Storm Collectibles allow you to do with the figures and how they hide articulation. But once again, some things are really loose when you start messing around with them until you pose them, they're okay. Like how easy the head pops off on mine. So not bad, but you can see that happen to me already. And this too, when you start moving around, see, it has like a really ugly gap. But once you position them, you can kind of fold this, the backing, the rubber over the lower end of the back like that. So it's stuff like that. Otherwise, you know, the figure came out really cool. So the hands come off very easily, usually. Okay, and of course, he comes with 2 punching fists out of the box and a whole bunch of hands. I'll show you in a second. But as far as this bracer, so that's what it looks like, how easy it comes off. You want to check that out in the forum. So if you didn't want to use it or customize it, it is possible. So you get 3 heads in a package, as I show, but this is one of the alternate heads, and it's like, yeah, he's going, woo, taunting his opponent. Looks pretty cool, awesome sculpting. The hair and the bandana all looks the same, and once again, see, these come off. So it looks like that if you want to remove it. And for the other head, you get the yelling or attack face, right? Mouth all the way open. Sculpt is exactly the same as with the hair and bandana and eyes, but once again, the mouth. Here's a close-up comparison with all 3 heads together, so you just see what the different expressions on the faces are doing. Taking the first head off, I'll just put the screaming head on to show you how it goes on. So it just pushes down, locks like that, and there's your articulation. And then here's a quick look with the taunting face I want to call on Liu Kang. Check that out. And like all Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figures, you get 5 sets of alternative hands. I mean, everything you can see here, from taunting hands, knife hand strikes, to tiger claws, and everything in between. So we'll just put a couple hands on for fun. So I took the 2 punching fists he comes with off, obviously. Put the screaming head on, battle ready face. And we'll put the tiger claw hand or knife, or yeah, I think it's a tiger claw hand on the right side. And then I'll put one of the knife striking hands on the left. And these two, you got to watch these hinge joints. See, they move so easy. It's like the hands are soft enough, but you got to kind of work it on like this. And here's a quick look at Liu Kang with the 2 alternative hands on, and kind of set him up in somewhat of a kung fu or martial arts stance, going back to the Mortal Kombat game. Yeah, it's really cool what you can do with him as far as the hands, like as I said earlier, articulation, the feet too, and try to set his form correctly. Also, too, his feet does have toe articulation. Mine was stuck. I didn't even see that. I should have known because most of these have it. But that's very important, too. And yeah, like the little socks. Ball joints, too, are tricky, you know, but now you can see they're loosening up and they're moving a little better. So checking out Liu Kang's other accessory, he comes with this awesome fire effect. One of his special moves, or I just call it the fireball. What's neat with this is it's got a snake face or a dragon face with fangs on it. I'm guessing a snake. I didn't notice that at first in the game. It just always looked like, yeah, fireball in motion, but this one's kind of showing. It's done in a translucent plastic. It's soft back here, but I just like how rigid it is up front. You know, it's not something going to be gummy and warped. And it does have a hole in it for the base to hold it up. So let's bring that in and check that out. And here's a quick look at the base and your little pieces that you're going to build this up with. So there's naturally a starter piece here. It's a larger peg. And there's 5 different spots in the main base plate that you can set it up. I'll just put it in the middle. So this one will go in like that, and then you can, you know, see how the next piece will link like this and so forth and so on. You can build it up to a certain height. Okay, so I got Liu Kang and his fireball set up with the stands. I had to use 4 of these to attach to the bottom of this fire effect to get it right in the position of his hands in his stance, going back to his iconic pose in a game, something like that, or the high fireball he always did. And you can see the pose he did. Now I'm showing you this image here, right, from the MK2 arcade, or what's on the box art, how he should be tossed in the fireball, fire effect. I did change the hands out. I think they're the right hands to mimic that action effect. But going back to his stance, standing on 1 foot, like in the game, he cannot stand up. And I don't see any other piece that's between maybe this effect and the hands or something. It just kind of free floats. But he does fall over, so I did have to use a Kaiser stand, which I got a ton of these. I use them on all my figures. You can see in the background. So only I can stand them up. But anyway, it's the best I can do. It looks cool if you have all those parts, or you can set them up, or maybe your figure can stand. So for Liu Kang's final and most impressive accessory I've ever seen in a playset yet, or an arcade game going back to the 90s, it's his Dragon Fatality. Look at that. So it comes in 3 pieces, obviously. We'll go over the detail in a minute, but so you got the head, you got the lower half with the legs attached and the tail. Now, you know, obviously you can see this is going to have to go into that side, and the tail is going to go up, you know, popping down here, but I know this isn't going to go in without a blow dryer for a fact. So I did bring a blow dry out here. I'm going to heat the inside ends up first, get them warm, and then snap the peg in, and we'll go from there. So we got the work in progress here. Obviously, I snapped on the upper part of the head with the lower part of the body. Here's my blow dryer, right? You can't believe how hard it was to snap these pegs in to that insert like I'm going to do in the tail. I mean, you could not, it's impossible. So you have to heat this up. I put the blow dryer on low heat for a minute and a half, and I kept it about this close to the female part, not the, you know, the peg in. That's what you got to heat and loosen up. Make it soft enough to pop this in, but it's really difficult. It's the only way I found a way to do it, and it does work. So I'll just heat it like this for maybe a minute and a half. All right, so it's heated up, soft. Let's see how it goes in now. There you go, pops right in. All right, now we got the Dragon fully assembled. Look at that. That is incredible. I can't believe that we have a Mortal Kombat 2 Liu Kang's Dragon Fatality effect today in toy form, and it came out perfect. Or I guess it's a Chinese dragon. As far as the height, put a tape on it. He stands about 13 inches all the way up the top. Obviously, the legs are articulated. We'll go over all the articulation details in a second, but you got to watch these because they are a little loose. He's standing okay for now, but sometimes moving around, he gets loose in the joints down in here, and he does fall forward. I can see this might be something you might have to support with a figure stand, maybe. Depends on the figure, but for the most part, it's standing okay. He looks incredible. So bringing him in for a closer look, check out the details, paint, articulation. I mean, that head is just, wow. Love the way the eyes are done, the sculpting. I mean, the teeth, the mouth fully articulates. Check that out, it even has a tongue in there. That's just its own separate sculpt. How sharp those teeth are, wow. Yeah, the scales, the fins back here, right? And there's, so we got the right and the left side. You can see all that. We know the mouth articulates. As far as the other articulation now, so it does articulate. We do have a split here in the scale, so we can turn the head back and forth, go up and down a little bit. It's on a ball peg. And then we have the next section of the neck that can also turn, go up and down. Then we have another section in the neck. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's all. Okay, so the sculpt is solid all the way back here. Check out all detailed down to where the arms are. Get all these cool spines, fins in the back. Okay, so the next articulation points up in here. So he does turn there and go forward and back. Another ball joint. And as far as the hands, I mean, look at them claws. Got the 3-finger hands. These are really soft. Can turn, go in and out. And you can see it. Okay, so it popped off the ball peg. Very similar to a peg like the Liu Kang has, it much bigger. We'll leave that off for now. So the other hand's exactly the same as far as the sculpt. And then the hands, too, can spin, you know, or the arms go up and down, in and out. Bend at the elbow, all the way out like that. Go forward. The other hands, okay, all the same. Same thing. Excellent sculpting. Hand, too, fell, spinning it out, and go up and, okay, can only go out about that far. Yeah, the hands come off really easy, so you got to be careful of that, but it did a great job and everything. And with the hands off, here's a little bit closer look at them. See all the details, the claws, the paint. And real quick, putting the hands back on and spreading the arms out, putting the head up, articulating the mouth out. I mean, this is not only can it be a fatality effect for Liu Kang, it could just be a whole nother creature, monster itself, to mix into, yeah, your Master Universe collection, of course, your Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat series, whatever you want to do with it. Just the way they sculpted and designed it. So moving back down as far as the rest of the articulation, sculpt, and detail. So we know it spins up here. We looked at the hands. Now, of course, this is the piece we had to put together. And now that's on, that can spin, go up and down on the ball joint. About that far, not too much. So he is sort of pre-posed with that curve. Down here, too, we have another articulation point. So you can turn and go up and down about that far. There's all detail in the back. Yeah, the paint, the fins. The legs are both exactly the same. Now, as far as the leg articulation, so we can spin all the way up and down like that. He can, the lower part of the leg or ankle can go out about that far and all the way in. And then you have this section here, so that can spin, go all the way out with the foot. Here's the foot here. Check that out. So, yeah, you move it all around, go all the way out like that, up, as we said. And then he does have, looks like, some kind of toe articulation, but I can't bend it on that side. Maybe this, so this other leg's all the same. I'll go through all that. Maybe this toe here. Oh, there we go. So you can see that can bend all the way up and out. Mine was just stuck. See all detail on the feet, the toes, the nails. And then I can bring both legs back about that far. You want to make him look like he's swimming or something. Put him in some kind of a diorama and set him up. Right, put the arms all the way forward, so they do go back about all the way that far back. I'm gonna check that out. So moving on down to the tail part. So the tail can spin all the way like this, up and down. It can go up about that far, and only down about that far because of it's limited, the sculpt, scales. And of course that wasn't the other section we had put on. And you do have this other piece, the last piece, its own sculpt. And that can spin, go up and down about that far. But see, it also pops very easily at a ball peg. But it does go back in easy too. With these, you had the heat. So take that off for a second. But take a closer look at that. It's all the details. And it's, yeah, really hard. It's not something, it can move a little bit, but it's not meant that you can snap it. So it doesn't have a wire or nothing like that, obviously. Take a closer look at that. And here's a quick look or side-by-side comparison with Liu Kang's Fatality Dragon. Kind of stood it up as far as I can get him without falling over. And Liu Kang with the hands change out in his bowing pose. And here's a quick look or height comparison with Liu Kang's Fatality Dragon against the Mortal Kombat 2 Kentaro, also by Storm Collectibles. So you can kind of see how those two size up together. And here's another quick comparison with Liu Kang's Fatality Dragon. We got the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Reptile, and of course the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 2 Shao Kahn. See how all those guys stack up together. Here's a quick comparison with Storm Collectibles Goro next to Liu Kang's Dragon. Check those two out together. And here's a quick comparison against the Storm Collectibles Montaro and, of course, our Liu Kang Dragon. So you kind of see those two together. They scale up. Man, they're huge. Look at the size of these two. That Dragon still beats them all. Just one of the most impressive pieces I've seen yet. So, overall, I think the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 2 Liu Kang and his Fatality Dragon 2-pack came out incredible. I like the way they went about doing Liu Kang, just with his look, paint, sculpt, articulation, heads, the whole deal. Does have his issues sometimes when you're trying to manipulate or articulate certain areas like the arms, the waist and buck, because that rubberized skin he has, which is cool. It's very unique for Storm Collectible figures, and I do like that. But sometimes it just goes out of place and looks weird. The shoulders pop out, the rubber shifts to one side. I wouldn't call it a QC issue. It's just how it works. But once you set them up, articulate them, you can kind of fix those areas and reset them, and it looks fine. I like the special move effect. That's always a neat addition. It's cool to give you the stand, but when I try to pose my Liu Kang in his iconic Mortal Kombat 2 pose with the leg up, my figure doesn't stand. Now, you don't have to do that. You can pose him any way you want, But I was just demonstrating that as far as the gamer box art looks. So I do have to use a figure stand. Not the worst problem in the world. The star of the show and the most impressive piece that I've seen in any collection, especially this one, is that Dragon, Fatality Dragon. I mean, look at him. The sculpt, the articulation, the size. Wow, I came out better than I thought. And yeah, you could just mix in with a Dragon as far with your other figure collections, or put him on your shelf just like that. He does stand okay. Sometimes he does fall over with the leg articulation because of just his height and how he's balanced. And, once again, warning, when you go to put them together, use a blow dryer for those 3 parts because you'll just break it or kill yourself. It doesn't work. But aside those little things, what a great set, and I'm just so happy to have it. So hopefully this answers all you guys' questions. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, take care.